Dumela, Sanbonani, Avusheni, Togozane. My name is Sulufelo Khatebe. I'm the author of Love is the Highest Vibration, the author of The Art of the Love Vibration. And I'm here to break down the different levels of love. And last week we spoke about the root chakra, the foundational love, the love in survival mode, and we're all connecting, or every topic is connected to the next one. So, the more deeply rooted you are, firm in your standing, firm in your principles, firm in your direction in life, the more you can be connected with what your sacral chakra is, your sacred chakra, your sexual chakra. It's not about just the chakra, so I don't need anybody to feel like, but I'm a Christian, or I'm biblical, or I'm Muslim. I think everybody has sexual energy, and this is just an expression and an understanding of that. We're all sexual beings. Sex is a creative force for everyone. It creates life. Our lives are guided by it, so right now even the sacral chakra is known as your waters, and you see how water flows. So your creativity, your sexuality is like that. It's like if you just drop the waters, how it flows, how your life flows is going to be based on what your creative and sexual drive is. Are you driving after materialism? Are you driving after just satisfying your body? Driving after a higher sense of spiritual realization? Are you driving for connection? So you need to a healthy sacral chakra, or a healthy sacred sexual relationship with yourself and with others comes from a place of abundance, comes from a place of understanding yourself and making room for yourself, because even if you were to make a child, you've made more room for yourself to continue to exist, for certain traits and certain forms of expression, so our sacral chakra is where we give life. Our sacral chakra is where creativity and manifestation comes from. This is also where our desires are centered. So how do you know that your desires are healthy? I think that's the big question, especially in this era. We're so guided towards the body, and the body will perish. And if you're on this channel and you're having this conversation with me, we've already had the understanding that the human is more than this body. There's consciousness, and consciousness is what separates you from... It doesn't actually separate you, it connects you to everything. It's that energetic field. It's what we call God, the ultimate level of consciousness. So the waters need you to constantly flow in order to remain clean, like rivers. If the water is left isolated in a bottle and remains neglected, your waters become contaminated by addiction to sensory pleasures and being controlled by your emotions. I can tell you that, especially even as a creative person, as a spiritual person, you need to master this, because even I have my own personal challenges with it. You cannot block your waters. Your waters need to constantly flow. Now, that's not just saying, hey man, you should be constantly having sex. That's saying that your creative energy needs to be used. So your sexual energy can be transferred into other things. Boxers and athletes, they don't have sex around the time before a big game, because they're waters your sperm has everything. It has your brain, your eyes, your nose, your consciousness is in that water. So when you now concentrate that water, it's a way of aligning yourself with everything that you do, And when you find that center and you create, you take from within and you create and you exert out and you express yourself onto the world. That's a healthy flow, So the more you create, the more you're using your waters for what they were given to. Because I think even in the ultimate sexual relationship, we should be able to even shift reality together, because we are so in tune with everything that we envision for ourselves and the vibrational frequency between you and I, that when we're having sex, it's giving birth not only to a baby, but to a new reality, you know. Uzokuvusela inhlanhla ezimangazayo, you know, and I've experienced that, and it just requires so much of that flow, of you getting used to that flow of cleansing yourself, of cleansing your intentions, of cleansing the relationship you have with people, you know. So yeah, so we must always be wary of an unbalanced sexual relationship. Means you get too attached to the flesh, you get too attached to sensory pleasures and being controlled by your emotions, you know. So that's something that we also need to be wary of. A person who has found love in creation enjoys the senses with a sense of discipline in keeping their emotions and relationships in balance. Now, even love or a relationship that's based on the sacral chakra, right? It's very sensual, and it makes you guys become centered about sex in the soft life because you're always feeding your flesh. The problem with taking this orange sun that is the sacral chakra, that is like the energy of the sun, you know, is that it's a fire. And if everything, your entire relationship is based on sex or the senses, eventually you run out of steam, because a fire, in order for a fire to be kept alive, you need to keep feeding it. And as you feed it, it's like it's disintegrating everything that you're feeding. It's burning your money, it's burning your time, it's burning your energy, you know, and there's no rebirth after that, you know. So you need to watch yourself, because you could just be feeding into the flame and then you end up ashy, you know. And nothing will ever be enough if it's based on the senses, if it's based on the flesh, you know. You need to understand that that's how people end up being promiscuous, or cheating, or sleeping around, because it's never enough. The flesh is never enough. Man cannot live on bread alone, you know. And that's the problem with love with yourself and love with another person that's based on your sensuality and those senses. Those are not negative things, but they need to be balanced and controlled, you know. And your ambitions should be bigger than that. This is why it's important to have a grounded root chakra, because for you to be rooted and grounded is what allows your ambition to come from a place of contentment. You're not ambitious because you don't feel enough. You don't want the soft life because you don't feel enough and you feel like the soft life is finally going to make you somebody. You enjoy the beauty of life. And when you're rooted, you understand that that doesn't only come in expensive things. There are expensive things. There are creations humans have made that required so much alignment, that their beauty is something that we should appreciate. But there's beautiful mountains, there's air, there's silent moments between you and somebody who understands you. That is the beauty of life. And being rooted and grounded allows for your sacral chakra to now work in an even more balanced way that connects you to the next level. Now the next level is going to be the solar plexus. You know, that energy that you can even feel in your stomach, that balances. This is the balancer, you know. We're gonna dig into that next week. But yeah, let's make this a discussion. I'm learning on the go as well. I undertake these lessons because you learn by administering your purpose. You evolve by administering your purpose. You might not even know why or what's gonna happen, what's the transaction that God's gonna give you, but when you serve the Most High through your purpose, it opens gates you would have not foreseen, you know. So that's what we're undertaking in now. Let's engage. I'd love this to be a learning process for all of us, and I know that the insight you get from hearing me speak, what it sparks in your mind, is also a piece of growth you can give back to me, and we become a community on love vibrations.